season here at Syracuse University football, and my good friend Doug Roberts should be here somewhere, but his dad, Dr. Fred Roberts, who was a great pediatrician in town, sent me a letter before he died. He said, Syracuse football has been restored to its rightful place, and I think that was really summed up what's going on right now. We are just so excited and thrilled that we can hand the torch to a man that is so deserving of being a head coach. Someone who's committed his entire life to coaching, who followed in the footsteps of his dad, who brings enthusiasm, who brings wisdom, who brings experience, who brings engagement with student-athlete, someone who believes in developing the total student-athlete, someone who's given his life to seeing young men grow into productive, viable people that can contribute to society. He's a fellow that, when you look at our teams and you look at our defense, a man that his defense epitomizes his personality. If you watch the Pinstripe Bowl, I don't know the last time I saw 2 safeties in one game. Someone's going to tell me when that's happened. His players love him. They'll run through the wall for him. He's inspiring. The network that he's created over all these years is just so impressive. It's just amazing to hear the things that other coaches have said. You know, Coach Shafer is a coach to me that since he's been here, I look at him like he's a head coach. He's been running this defense, the way he carries himself, he's got it in him. He's got something special. And every once in a while, you get to run into someone that is really, really rare. And I've been fortunate to be in this business where I've run into some coaches that have had some tremendous success, and you knew ahead of time that they were going to be successful. And here we are getting ready to go into the ACC. We're going into new territory. We're going to be opening up playing Penn State on August 31st. We're going to be looking right across the stadium from them. And if you want to know that you got someone that can lead your men into battle and represent this institution in the highest way, and I got to tell you, there's no one more deserving to have this opportunity than the man I'm going to bring up right now, Coach Scott Shafer.
How's everybody doing today?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Couldn't be better. You know, I want to start out just let you know I'm extremely humble and thankful to the people that made this thing go down. Starting with Chancellor Nancy Cantor. She's been wonderful. I've had the opportunity to get to know her better over the last few days, and I'm really looking forward to working for her and with her. Dr. Darryl Gross over here, who, the same thing, you know, I'm the type of person that always felt like you do your job and everything else takes care of itself. And I didn't try to get to know a lot of people around here other than the guys that can have cause and effect on our victories, which were our players and our assistant coaches. But I've really enjoyed the process over the last few days, getting to know Dr. Gross, and I'm really enthusiastic about the opportunity that he's presented to me, and I can't thank you enough. Can't thank you enough. Richard Thompson, Chairman of the Board of Trustees. I'm looking forward to getting to know him better, and I'm looking forward to expanding our horizons with viewpoints across the board from those people that understand this university better than I. And I'd also like to thank Howie Fansdale for his ongoing support of me personally in the development and what we want to make one of the best teams in the nation, and that is a goal of ours. As I step back, I want to take a second and look back over the last 4 years and thank the man that gave me the opportunity to come here, Doug Marone. The man that built the foundation that we're going to get on top of and try to continue to grow as we work forward. And I appreciate the fact that Doug came in here along with a good group of staff and took us from the worst to to the first. And he should be commended, and he has been, because he's in a position that I know he'll do great things up there at Buffalo. And being a head coach in the NFL is something that I know he's aspired to do, and I think he's a perfect fit. Lastly, I'd like to thank my family, Missy, Wolfgang, and Elsa, who I love dearly, and I can't talk about right now. The next thing I'd like to do is extend open arms to the alumni, especially the former football players and coaches. Coach Mack, I want to invite you guys to be active in our future and to help us, because you're the ones that put the blood, the sweat, and tears, and you bled orange for so many years, and this is your program. And I just look forward to taking some time as I reflect and go into this process that's in front of us, to respect those before me. And open arms, we got Floyd Little, who I extended an invitation for the former players to work through as we look forward and look for all the assistance we need to become great. With those things being said, what I did want to do today is talk to you a little bit about the approach, the core, if you will, of this program. To carry on the values of integrity, commitment, excellence, and teamwork, and put them to action with great attitude, effort, and enthusiasm. The pillars of this program. The thing we will talk about most on a daily basis is just that, attitude, effort, and enthusiasm. And I know I spoke to a lot of you folks in the press over the last few years about this, but it really is the core of my beliefs in how you develop young men. And we talk about controlling the controllables. And it's the most underrated thing going, in my opinion. And I can say it to each one of you, just like I do with my children, and just like I do with my players. When you get out of bed every morning, you have choices to make. And they're controllable choices. Regardless of what hand you've been dealt in life, you can pop out of bed and say, this is going to be my attitude today. And I'm going to put effort in because that's a choice I make. And it's followed up with a celebration of enthusiasm. And it's those three pillars that we will always point back to as we try to progress forward in making this community proud about the product we put on that football field. I know a lot of you will have questions about the direction and the vision of where this program's going. So after some thought, some long thought, I had a few things here that I wanted to mention to you. With regards to the vision of this program as I see it, number one, I envision a hard-nosed team that's from a hard-nosed town. And the thing I like about Syracuse, the city, is that the people that live here and embrace it are tough people. They're hard-nosed people that work their ass off, and they expect a hard-nosed football team. And in my opinion, it's our job to put a product on the field that the community can say, that is us. That is our team. They're physical, and they're going to get after you when you come to the dome. I envision a team with integrity and academic excellence. If there's one thing I'm most proud of, is the fact that we dominated the Big East off the field academically. And that needs to be continued as we work our way into this ACC conference, another conference that has excellent academics. And our goal is not only to dominate on the football field, but also to dominate in the classroom, like our kids have done these last 4 years. I envision an offense with a lot of juice, a lot of orange juice. I want an offense that's fast, that's fun and inventive. I think Coach Hackett did a great job putting that on display, especially in the last 3 quarters of this season. And we want to continue that forward. Now, the personality of the offensive coordinator that we will end up hiring is yet to be determined. But that personality has to be such that he is inventive and exciting to watch. I want this team to be an offensive unit that when you come and watch them play, you better not take a bathroom break. Because there's going to be a lot of juice on the field. And that'll be an expectation, and it's an awful lot of fun when you go after it from that point of view. I envision an orange crush defense that makes the opponents' families cringe when their child's about to get hit. I don't think Missy wanted me to go there. But I thought about one of my favorite people in the business, and I guarantee you Jim Harbaugh would want me to go. We used to always talk about before he got up in front of the crowd, he'd come in and he'd say, "Shafer, what do you think of this? I will bow to no man and no program." That's great, Jim. And if anything, he gave me the inspiration to have a little bit of fun with it. So I put that one in there because I do believe it, and that's how we talk to our kids. That's how we talk to our players. We want to put the fear of God in the opposing football player that happens to have the ball underneath his arm. And that's what we want to do, and we want to find a way to continue to play an aggressive style of defense that people love to watch. I envision a dome that shakes and intimidates. And when we get the opposition in the loud house, we lock the doors behind them and we don't let them out. For 60 minutes or more, whatever it takes, they are locked in the dome, and we don't let them escape. I envision a student body that becomes our 12th man. On game day, a student body that can't wait to get to the dome. It saves some energy the night before because they know we're counting on them to help us intimidate the opposing team. A student body that can't wait to get there and support their student athletes. So those are the vision points that I put down that I felt were important as we go, and I know you're going to have a bunch of questions. But I'd also like to end this just by announcing that had the opportunity, and Coach Mack, you know this, there's only a handful of people, I'm in the business 22 years, there's only a handful of people in the business that you trust like a brother. There are a lot that you respect, but there's only a handful that you trust. The highs and the lows of all the years being a coach, the guys that got your back all the way through, and usually the guys that you had an opportunity to work with. One of my dearest friends, who is also somebody I idolize as a coach, has accepted to come here and take the title of defensive coordinator under me. His name's Chuck Bullock, and we just got confirmation that we could announce that to you, and you'll have a lot of questions. And I can already see some of you guys Googling it. He's a hard-nosed guy. He went to high school just outside of Buffalo. He's been in the NFL as a player and a coach. He coached my linebackers at Western Michigan. He took a program that had 1 win the first season, and we moved the season prior to our hiring under Bill Cubitt. He helped us take a defense and a team from winning 1 game against a 1AA team at the time, and turn it around and win an 8 and have one of the biggest turnarounds in college football. I trust him like a brother. He's run the same scheme, and we have a mutual respect for one another, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions about him. But anyway, with all those things, I appreciate your time, and I look forward to answering your questions. Good. Thank you very much.
congratulations. You know, when Doug was here, it seemed to me that he pretty much let you run the defense, you know, the way you saw fit. What will your approach be with the offensive and defensive coordinators here?
Yeah, I really believe in letting your coaches coach. I know I always felt like I was at my best when I had the freedom to be inventive, the freedom to, you know, look at a game plan and say, what's the risk and the reward, and the freedom to coach the kids the way I felt fit. Doug did a great job giving me that opportunity here, and I need to do the same thing to my people as we get this staff put together. I will also keep my hand in on the scheme, especially on the defensive side of the football. But Chuck and I have been together, and we come from the same, you know, the same sort of scheme as well as philosophical viewpoint. So that's how we're going to go about it.
Can you tell me anything more about the OC search? Is there a time?
Yeah, it's going well. It's going really well. It's been narrowed down. I'm not at liberty to express any names at this point in time, but all I can tell you is it's unbelievable how many people want to be here. It's unbelievable how many people want to be here. And what we're looking for is the right fit. You know, it's one thing to be a talented coach. It's one thing to have a pedigree. It's one thing to be, you know, a guy that's up and coming. What we need to do is find the best fit for Syracuse. And I'm not in a hurry to do that. You know, John Wooden, I mentioned this a couple times already. One of my favorite coaching points, and I even talked to Wolfgang about this as a player, is, you know, don't hurry, but be quick and sharp. But don't hurry. We don't want to go about this in such a way that we sloppily get the first guy that sounds exciting. It doesn't fit extremely well with each and every other member of the staff. So we're gonna do it right, and we'll get the best guy in here that gives us a chance to put on a show on offense.
Scott, how long has this been a goal of yours to be a head coach, and what is it like to realize that?
Yeah, it's been a goal of mine since I was about 10 years old. My father, and we'll talk about this later when I have more composure, since I was 10 years old, because I was influenced by my dad. Next question.
The rest of this staff, I don't know if you're at liberty to say or not, but you know, there was a lot of guys, there's been a lot of speculation about who might stay and who might go. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, the only thing I would say there, for Nolan's question and anyone else that has the same question but tries to reword it is, talented people get recruited. And at the end of the day, I hope for the best for every individual in his family. I've been in that situation when I've been on the side of being recruited. I've been in that situation when some of my best friends had a tough decision to make, whether to leave a good job or move out or move on to something that they felt was better. At the end of the day, we got great coaches in this country, and you know, for me, coast to coast, I've been fortunate enough to coach, and I know a lot of really good quality football coaches that have a high level of character. And all I can tell you is just give me a little bit of time here. Between myself and Dr. Gross, we're going to put together a hell of a staff. Okay? And just give me a little bit of patience on that thing. Just understand this. Our priorities have to be this, in my opinion. The people side of it, it has to be our current players, who I can't wait to see Sunday night. And we have to tend to them first. And then the second thing we have to do is we have to do a great job tending to the prospects, the recruits that we're going after and trying to hang on to. And then the third thing is the coaching staff. And that's just the way we're going to handle that thing. But as soon as we have good information, like we have today with Chuck Bullock, we'll get it to Sue and get it out to you as quickly as possible.
Questions?
All right. You're going to be on the sidelines next year, presumably, with the headset and everything. When was the last time you did that? I know you've been up in the box for 4 years.
Yeah, I did it for one game against UCLA, my first game at Stanford. Jim felt like it was important that I was on the field. and I did it, and I was a D coordinator, and I couldn't see things the way I like to, so I just did it once. But knowing that I'm gonna let my guys coach this thing, you know, I feel real comfortable about that. Probably more comfortable than my wife does. But I'm not gonna be in the press box as the head coach. Any more questions for me?
Scott, you touched on the recruits. Do you get a sense, without naming names, if you're going to be able to keep most of the class together? Or?
Yeah, the one thing I do know is that you never know until signing day. That's the one absolute. I've been in situations where, you know, mom, dad, brother, sister, grandma, uncle all told me he's coming. Coach Mack, you've been there, right? He's coming, he's coming, he's coming, we're good. And then the paper doesn't show up. You know what I mean? And he's the guy, Showtime, he's the guy that put all the effort in, and then you lose him. And I've also been on the side where you put all the effort into that big name kid, that 4- and 5-star guy that everybody couldn't believe we got, and then he never played a game in his whole career. And on the flip side, I've coached guys like Louis Delmas, one of the best safeties in the NFL right now. And when I started to recruit Louis from Miami, Florida, nobody knew who he was. And he became a 2-star after he committed to us at Western Michigan, and he was the first safety drafted that year he came out. So I can tell you this, at the end of the day, I want guys that want to play for us. I want guys that want to go to the Dome and say, this is my home. And all those other guys that are wavering, they just better make a decision that they're not going to play us if they decide to go elsewhere.
Other questions for Coach Shafer?
Good?
Questions for Dr.